She had a heart of gold. She didn't mistreat nobody.
I mean, I can't even be a grandfather. Can't even walk her down the aisle. She gone. And something is not adding up right here.
We're not gonna stop until we get to the end of it.
Take it to the bottom of it.
We're gonna get to the end of this.
I'm hurt. I'm hurting all the way around.
Tonight, it's become a mystery in Mexico as a Charlotte family tries to find answers into how a 25-year-old wound up dead.
So this happened about 2 weeks ago. Shanquella Robinson went to Mexico with her friends. She arrived early on Friday the 28th, and her family says the next morning she was dead.
Still, no criminal charges have been filed in the mysterious death of Shanquella Robinson. Shanquella is originally from Charlotte, North Carolina, but she was found deceased on vacation in Mexico while she was there with her friends. Following her arrival to Mexico, she called her mother to let her know she made it, and after that, her family never saw her or spoke to her again.
I probably won't be at ease until someone's arrested.
And the family tells me they have contacted the FBI in Charlotte to help them figure out what happened. They also say they'll hire a private investigator if it comes to that. Their daughter will be laid to rest next Saturday.
Shanquella Robinson was 25 years old and lived in Charlotte, North Carolina. According to her social media, she attended West Charlotte High School and later went off to graduate from Winston-Salem State University. Shanquella's friends and family described her as loving, compassionate, and goal-oriented. Her mother told the local news that she had a heart of gold, she loved everybody, and pretty much everybody loved her. Her daughter also was a boss. Shanquella was a business owner of a hair braiding business that was popular with kid braiding. She then ventured off to open and own a women's clothing boutique store. Shanquella was driven and determined to conquer whatever she put her mind to. She was very hardworking, but she loved everything that she did. When she wasn't working, reports stated she spent the majority of her time with family and close friends. She also loved adventure, so she would frequently travel on her downtime. But sadly, while she went on vacation to Cabo with her close friends this year, it was reported that she died within 24 hours of arriving.
So the death certificate has a section that reads, was it accidental or violent death? Yes was typed into that section, so it's still not clear which one authorities meant to select. The U.S. State Department told Queen City News that Mexican authorities say there's no clear evidence Robinson was murdered.
According to reports on Friday, October 28, 2022, 25-year-old Shanquella Robinson, her best friend Khalil, and 5 others went to Cabo, Mexico. When Shanquella made it to Cabo, she contacted her mother and told her they had a chef and they were getting ready to eat.
They had a chef, they was getting ready to eat. They was eating tacos, something, salad or something they was eating. And I said, well, okay, I love you, have a good night, and I will talk to you tomorrow. And I never talked to my child again, and she never made it back home. They had a villa, and they stayed there all night. They didn't go out at all.
The next day, Saturday, October 29, 2022, Shanquella's mother received a phone call, but this time from her daughter's best friend, Khalil. According to Khalil, Shanquella wasn't feeling well.
They said she wasn't feeling well. She had alcohol poisoning. They couldn't get a pulse. Each one of the people that was there with her was telling different stories.
He told her mother that Shanquella had alcohol poisoning, and unfortunately, the medics could not save her daughter.
The group stayed here at Villa Linda 32, a property listed on CaboVillas.com. A rep with the company says the group called the concierge for help Saturday afternoon. The concierge called a doctor who gave CPR. Robinson died at 3 p.m., an estimated 15 minutes after her injury.
Reports then alleged her best friend and the 5 others returned to the U.S. a day earlier while Shanquella's body was still in Mexico. Although her best friend reiterated that Shanquella had died from alcohol poisoning, her family says that all of her friends on the trip had a different story as to how she died. From there, Their family did their own digging. Her family paid $6,000 to get her body flown back to the United States. The medical reports further revealed that Shanquella's death had nothing to do with alcohol, per her family. Medical reports state that Shanquella had a broken neck and a cracked spine at the time of her death. They believe she could have been beaten.
The autopsy came back. They said it didn't have anything to do with alcohol. Said that she had been, she had a broken neck, and her spine in the back was cracked. She had been beaten. No one told the same story, so I never believed them anyway. They didn't call us to the very last minute. And then on top of that, they said the maid found them.
Queen City News obtained Robinson's death certificate, which lists the cause of death as severe spinal cord injury and atlas luxation, which is instability in the uppermost vertebrae. In the section where police could have noted any sign of intoxication, it says, person found unconscious on her living room.
And according to the TheNCBeat, who's been following this story from the beginning, they also received photos of Shanquella in which her face was swollen, she had a knot on her head, her eyes were swollen, and her lips were split.
We want justice for Shanquella Robinson, okay? Her best friend of more than 5 years, about 6-7 years. His name is Khalil Cook. Now, Khalil is a friend. I'm talking about like a friend. You know how you have that best friend where you hang out with, you go on vacations together, you hang out all the time, you know, you go out to dinner, shopping, whatever. You come over to mama's house, you hang out, and we're talking about best friend. We're not talking about no friend where we just meet people at the club 3-4 times and then we call ourselves friends. No, we're not talking about them type of friends. We're talking about someone who is supposed to have your back. Someone. I remember when I spoke to the mom and Shanquella's sister today, Quilla, you know, she told me that, you know, Khalil would be walking around pacing. You know, whatever it was that happened, it was eating him alive. So he brings over Winter and Dejanay. Okay, he brings those two over at one point. You know, at that point, you know, the family had been told that there was a fight over there and that they jumped on Shanquella. Well, the sister, Quilla, had asked the girls, you know, was it true or not? And they said, no, it was no fight going on. It wasn't nothing like that or whatever. So they said, at this point, we just gonna wait for the autopsy to come back, you know. All right, y'all saying it's alcohol poisoning, y'all not changing. Okay, we're just gonna wait to the autopsy to come back. Well, the autopsy comes back, and the autopsy says that Shanquella had a broken neck. She had her spinal cord was severed, broken, and she was beaten. A photo that when I spoke to Mr. Bernard earlier this morning, he told me that he shared a photo with the mom and the sister that showed Shanquella on the table, and it showed her forehead swollen, eyes swollen, lips busted, as if she had got into a fight.
Her family also discovered that other Americans were found dead in Mexico on the same day as Shanquella, all while vacationing as well.
Family members tell us Candace Florence was a creator and a force to be reckoned with. Candace and her friend Jordan Marshall were both found dead in their Mexico City Airbnb last week. Candace's boyfriend was on the phone with her when she started getting sick. He then called the Airbnb host to do a welfare check, and authorities found Candace, Jordan, and Jordan's friend Cortez Hall inside.
However, Queen City News spoke with the officials at the U.S. State Department in Mexico. They refute the claims that Shanquella was murdered, saying that police initially indicated that there was no evidence of foul play. Mexican authorities also refused to press charges on anyone in this case. Shanquella's family refuses to believe their daughter's death was an accident, and they vow to find the truth about what happened that night in Cabo. Right now, her friends are being reshared all over social media, thousands of times on every blog website. They're not suspects in the case. What happened?
We obtained a list of 7 guests who signed into the villa and called the phone numbers they left with the company. Some numbers weren't valid.
Please leave your message for...
and others went to voicemail.
As of today, her friends, family, and loved ones are still fighting for justice. Another devastating story, and another young lady from North Carolina. You guys know that I am from there. Me and this young lady, we had a lot of mutual friends, to the point that I cheered in college with girls that she cheered with. And just seeing them on my timeline, devastated, wanting answers. I hope that the family gets the answers that they deserve. You guys, let me know your thoughts and your opinions about this. Let's please respect the victim in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys dearly. And with that being said, don't forget to check on your loved ones.